Hello, Love is Blind fans. Do you remember when a certain group of Love is Blind stars, who you may or may not have seen on screen, got together and sued this show for unpaid wages and unfair working conditions? Well, the results of the lawsuit are in, and it turns out that they won a whopping $1.4 million settlement against the show. The face of the lawsuit was Jeremy Hartwell, and although he was cast for the second season of the show, we never actually saw him as a main cast member. But despite not being a visible face on the show, he still suffered enough on the set that he brought forward this lawsuit, and he won, y'all. He really did. It does sound like a huge amount of money, but it's not just him who won this money. It's going to be divided amongst him and the other participants in the lawsuit as well. So let's get into the details of what actually went down, shall we? Shout out to Courthouse News Service for the write-up on what actually happened. Okay, so here we go. This is him, by the way, Jeremy Hartwell from season 2 of Love is Blind. If you actually remember him, do let me know. I don't. But season 2 was probably my least favorite season. This had Nick and Danielle and those people, and I didn't like it. There was Ayanna and Jarrett. Like, I like Ayanna, but like Jarrett was just red flags galore. So let's talk about it. Jeremy Hartwell, a cast member on the second season of the Netflix reality show Love is Blind, has reached a settlement with the streaming service and the show's production company in a class action he filed in 2022 over a panoply of labor violations, including unpaid wages. According to court documents filed Wednesday, Hartwell, acting as class representative, and Netflix have agreed to settle the putative class action for just under $1.4 million to be divided between attorneys and approximately 144 former cast and crew members. Neither the plaintiff's attorneys nor Netflix's attorneys returned phone calls requesting a comment. Each season of Love is Blind follows 30 single men and women who meet and communicate with each other in special built pods so that they may hear but not see each other. Only after one proposes marriage do they first lay eyes on one another. The show then follows a happy couple on a vacation to Mexico and to meet each other's parents. If all goes swimmingly, they get married. Hartwell was a 36-year-old director and entrepreneur. When he appeared on season 2 of the show, which aired in 2022, he did not find love. He did, however, find reasons to sue the popular streaming service as well as the show's production company, Kinetic Content. Listen, who wrote this article? Because I gotta say, you kind of slayed with that. Who is this? Hillel Aaron, or is it Aaron Hillel? You slayed with this. This was just the whiplash I got reading that. Damn, so biting. In the most recent version of his complaint, Hartwell accused Kinetic of creating, quote, unsafe and inhumane working conditions for the cast, end quote, including by maintaining excessive control over virtually every aspect of the lives of their show's cast and exerting complete domination over their time, schedule, and their ability to eat, drink, and sleep and communicate with the outside world. Cast members, Hartwell said, were plied with an unlimited amount of alcohol without meaningful or regular access to appropriate food and water to moderate their inevitable drunkenness. The combination of sleep deprivation, isolation, lack of food, and an excess of alcohol contributed to inhumane working conditions and altered mental state for the cast, he added. This was all done, he said, all in the name of entertainment value. Hartwell also said that Kinetic had misclassified its employees as independent contractors and had denied paying them a proper minimum wage and overtime pay or providing them a mealtime. Cast and crew were required to work 20 hours a day and 7 days a week for $1,000 per week, an effective minimum wage of $7.14 per hour. Listen, when he talks about sleep deprivation, isolation, lack of food, excessive alcohol, it does really sound inhumane. It sounds inappropriate. And it's just so crazy to think that this is so normal in the reality TV world. Like logically, we're like, yeah, that is terrible. They shouldn't be doing this to people. But then the other side of us who have grown up with reality TV, right? Like it's been around for well over a decade now, going on 2. It's kind of like, that's just how it is. That's how you get the good stuff, the good content, And I do find that to be rather unfortunate. And it's interesting to see the way that all of that is evolving as more and more lawsuits come out. The proposed settlement of $1.395 million includes $488,250 for the plaintiff's attorneys, just over a third of the total award. Both figures need to be approved by a superior court judge. A hearing on both the settlement and the class is scheduled for July. Hartwell is not the only former cast member to have sued Love is Blind. Tran Dang, a woman who was filmed for season 5 but was later edited out of the show, sued another cast member for SA, naming the production company as a co-defendant. Quote, producers made attempts to mask plaintiff's SA by characterizing it as a lack of attraction on the part of the plaintiff, Dang wrote in her complaint. When plaintiff insisted an assault took place, defendants Delirium TV and Kinetic Content questioned whether the problem was really one of communication and swept aside her concerns. Kinetic tried to force that dispute into arbitration, but that attempt was rebuffed. On Thursday, a Texas appellate court ruled that the production company was not liable for the SA claims because the incident took place in Mexico. However, the company is still on the hook for other claims, including false imprisonment and negligence. In a legal fight of her own, Renee Push, a former cast member who was mostly edited out of the show, said she fell in love with another cast member who turned out to be a homeless and violent drug addict. She said the producers pressured her into continuing the romance all the way up to the wedding altar, where she abruptly changed her mind and said, "I don't." In March, a judge ruled that Push was bound by her contract to work out her dispute in arbitration. Oh, it's so painful. Listen, when this show debuted, I loved it so much. It was so new, so different, and so exciting. But the more lawsuits come out and the more testimonies come out about what actually goes on behind the scenes, right, from the perspective of these individual people, the more I feel, even guilty sometimes for watching the show, because it sounds like it's really rough for them behind the scenes. But at the same time, it's also kind of difficult to really get it, because there are also people who are having great experiences. It's just like when it's great, it's amazing, and when it's bad, it's terrible. It sucks that you're seeing just two extremes coming out. I feel like they need to work so that people who are having terrible experiences do not have these sorts of terrible experiences, right? Like Renee, I covered that extensively when the information about that lawsuit came out, and it just sounded like a nightmare. And I hate that they forced her to go all the way to the end, and now they're trying to sue her for $4 million in order to shut her up. That's terrible, right? And then in the case of the other woman who sued them, Tran Dang, what happened to her is terrible. And the fact that this production company cannot be held liable for it because it did not happen in the United States of America, that is such a blow to the heart. It really, really is. And then now, of course, this one that was just one, right? The $1.4 million lawsuit filed by Jeremy Hartwell. Where there's smoke, there's fire, you guys. And that just breaks my heart. It really does. You know what I've been saying from the beginning? I think that someone like these modern matchmakers should do a Love is Blind type experience in real life, because the idea of these pods and whatnot, or blind agreeing to marry someone, this, that, or the other, that in itself is a beautiful concept, and I still love it, and I'm still so happy that this was put out into the world. But I feel like it would be a lot healthier away from cameras. You know what I mean? I think that if people were better vetted, because a lot of times when things are done for TV, they don't just vet people who are good people, this, that, or the other. They're also vetting people that are unstable people who can create great buzzworthy moments on TV, right? They don't want just stable love for everybody. They want a lot of chaos. They want a lot of drama, because that's what attracts people. But when you do things like this privately, in real life without TV shows, I feel like you can have even more fruitful results and happy, stable relationships, because Love is Blind does have a lot of happily married couples who have lasted years together and everything like that, which is amazing. So I do think that it's still a wonderful experiment that is very much possible, and I would love to see matchmakers bring this to real life. Anyway, you guys, let me know how you feel about the Love is Blind castmates who have now just won a $1.4 million judgment that they will be splitting amongst themselves. Does this change the way you see the show? Let me know why or why not in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more Love is Blind news, recaps, or other pop culture and reality TV gossip. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.